I'm gonna tell you now. This is how I feel about it. Canada is starting to turn into a third world country.
Canada has a drug problem. It is not safe. Hello everyone, what is up and welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I promise you, is going to be an interesting video, and that's because I have a wonderful guest to my channel.
Hi everyone, I'm Bisola. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Of course you're happy. Anyways, you guys loved our collaboration the last time, so I was like, why not bring her back again? So
another one.
Exactly, and that's why she's here today. Just before I forget, please, if you're new here, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you click on that subscribe button, and when you do subscribe, make sure you click on the bell like button so that you can get notified whenever I post a video and you will not miss any of my content at all. And I'm also going to leave my dear friends
Bisola's channel.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to leave her channel linked in my description box, so please be sure to subscribe to her channel and leave a comment in her videos telling her you're from my channel, okay?
Absolutely. And we're going to be having part 2 of this video on my channel as well, so you definitely want to check it out.
All right, so everything's going to be linked, just so you know. So today's video, I don't even know how to.
There's so much to unpack.
Exactly. Like, we're having conversations again and we're like, let us put that
into a video.
So here we are today. We're about to talk about some of the issues that we're currently facing in Canada. So if this is something you're currently interested in, keep watching and don't go anywhere.
Can I dance for you?
Before we start this video, we're just going to give a brief disclaimer that this video is just based off of our personal opinions and research, okay? So if you have comments to leave, make sure you are respectful in doing that. There's not going to be any bashing or insulting. Nothing like that will be tolerated, okay?
Thank you.
All right, so
where do we get started from?
I know.
There's so much to say. I don't even know where we are going to start, but I think we should first start with like a brief background about like Canada, immigration and all that.
Just in case you've been living under a rock.
Exactly.
Okay, so Canada as a country, you obviously know where it's located, is in North America, and they have built a reputation for over the last 150 years for immigration. They welcome a lot of immigrants. And also multiculturalism is something that's very important in their values.
The culture here.
So Canada is very diverse, it's very multicultural. Like, I don't think I have seen it, although I haven't been to as much countries as you, but like I haven't seen as much immigrants in any other country when compared to Canada.
I think there's a lot of immigrants across the world, but I think when it comes to people residing there, people travel here and there, but sometimes people do like working holidays, they travel for a short period of time. But when it comes to people actually migrating and deciding to settle there, I think Canada is one of the places in the world that has the most population doing that. And
then regarding statistics, immigrants make up to, I think, about 1/4 of
like foreign-born immigrants, not just immigrants, because some people are like they're still immigrant, but they were born in Canada. But like foreign-born immigrants is like 1/4 of the population in Canada.
Can you imagine?
That's a lot of people.
Lot, I know. These immigrants are self-inclusive. They've also helped build the country's economy, but
some Canadians have still expressed like their, I would say, concerns about the influx of immigrants in Canada, which yes, I'm Canadian now.
We're Canadians.
Yes, we are Canadians. I keep forgetting. Yeah, we are Canadians, but we also have our own thoughts as well with respect to the influx of immigrants here. But Canadians in general also have their own perception and perspective as to this new influx of immigrants here. So we are just going to go into the details as to why this is even happening in the first place and what our own thoughts are.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's also rightfully so. Like, it's your country.
It's my country as well.
Oh, okay.
Period.
Okay, I like that. Okay. So why do you feel like it's your country?
First of all, apart from the fact that I'm now a Canadian citizen and I pay taxes, a lot of the people that, except you are like an indigenous person, then I would say that yes, you own Canada. Every other person, they immigrated from somewhere, and maybe their forefathers or their earliest parents or ancestors moved here, but they are probably from Europe, other parts of the world, and they settled here maybe way earlier than before immigration became a thing. But just because I immigrated later to Canada doesn't mean that it's less of a country to me than it is to them. That's my own take.
Yeah, so you're saying the original
Only the
Canadians.
people, the like indigenous people can claim Canada as their birthright. The rest of us, we are all immigrants.
Oh, okay. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section.
Let me know. Speaking of, why do you also think that Canada became like more attractive to immigrants?
So I would say growing up, the dream promised land has always been America, the United States, and
American dream.
Yes, the American dream, exactly. And I would say over the last decade or more, the United States has sort of like closed their borders to immigrants, making it less attractive. And Canada, because of like their liberal party system, they opened up their gates to immigration to help bring immigrants and to help boost the economy, which I believe has been happening.
But like, other countries like Australia also welcome immigrants, but a lot of people are rather coming to Canada. I think it's also the fact that Canada is right next to America, so people feel like, okay, maybe if I come to Canada, it might be the closest for me to get back to the American dream. Yeah, that's what I think too.
That's a lie.
I think that's actually. We'll talk more about this in part 2 because there's so much that a lot of immigrants are living, like they are in denial because the expectation that they have in terms of what Canada should be like is totally different from what it actually is. And we'll talk more about that in part 2 where we talk about the expectation versus the reality of how Canada sold us dreams.
False hopes and dreams.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as we were saying, the United States, they shut their borders. It made Canada more attractive to immigrants, and with a large influx of immigrants comes with large influx of problems at the same time. So which is one of the things we're going to like talk about in much detail today. So where do most of the immigrants come from?
I think based on the recent statistics that we all know, most of them are coming from like Asia. Right?
Yeah,
so
like the
leading population.
You don't even need statistics. You already can physically see it.
You can see it. And also, I want us to also think about the fact that these people have the highest population even in the world, right? So because they have the highest population, it would make sense as to why they are the most percentage of people moving to Canada.
I'll also leave like a screenshot of the
statistics
as of 2022, or if I have a more recent one, I'll put the picture. But you can see that in number one, the first place we have India, which is no shocker to anyone.
Yeah.
Number two, we have China. They are quite popular, but I think because I've lived in BC, they are very, very situated.
They're also here in GTA, in Markham. Have you been there?
No.
They're literally all the stores that are there, like not just stores, even banks and places, they're written in Chinese.
Oh, like a Chinatown.
Yes, kind of thing.
And in number three, we have Afghanistan. I feel like there are a lot of
usually like
asylum or even like legal immigrants from there. But I feel like there are a lot of refugees from these countries based on the war that usually happens there.
Yeah.
And in fourth place, we have our country, Nigeria. Just in case you didn't know, we are Nigerians. And honestly, Nigeria was not
on the list until much recently.
Yes.
Immigration to Canada by Nigerians only started recently over like
the
last 10 years.
Yeah, the last 10 years.
It was mostly to the UK that most people would migrate to. But recently, that's when people started coming to Canada. Yeah. So Nigeria just literally joined the list.
And we're also very populated. So that's why we made it to the top.
We're the most populous country in Africa, in case you don't know. Yeah. Even the most populous black nation in the world. Did you know that?
If you think about it, yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the other countries listed down below. And there's also a video I came across on Instagram, which I'm going to just put on the screen while we're talking of how the number of immigrants are just growing over the past few years. Okay.
So now that we've seen that we are having a high rate of immigration into Canada, how has that really impacted like the Canadian economy and all of that? What do you think?
Honestly, the most glaring issue right now, I would say, would be housing. There's a lot of homelessness and sometimes also crime rate. So all of these things are sort of interconnected. With a lot of immigration happening, people are coming in. And remember, Ontario, where we live, is the leading destination for immigrants. And then
when you won't say Ontario, you have to specify
Toronto. Okay. Yes. And that's why there's a lot of crime rates in the GTA. Yeah,
Tell me about it.
We're getting there. So one thing I would say, and people will also agree with me, people also talk about the fact that the government is bringing a lot of immigrants into the country, but not making enough provisions or putting enough things in place to address the housing situation. It is so difficult to get a house. It is so difficult to rent a house. It's even difficult to find a house. Yes, and even if you find one, can you afford it? So it's crazy right now. We're going through an economic recession.
economic crisis, recession is, well, they go hand in hand, but like it's insane now. And I think regardless of the fact that these new people are coming in, I personally don't even see a problem with it, to be honest. I just think that the government are not putting in structures in place
to address,
like, to factor in these new people coming in, which is now causing more problems in Canada
and causing the Canadians to become angry. Yes, they always say, oh, you're taking our jobs, you're taking our houses, you're taking our slots for schools. Like, I can't even get a job because somebody from immigrants from you know
wherever
is doing the jobs. And honestly, this video may be a little scattered all over the place, but this is just us having an honest conversation. So just bear with us, okay? I've seen some reports on the news where landlords will find that there are up to like 20 people living in one bedroom house or a 2-bedroom house.
How would that make you feel if you are the landlord? If you are like a neighbor that see that kind of thing
you don't
happening?
Want to imagine the smell?
Even just the smell, even the amount of people, because every one of us, we have visitors coming around every now and then. So now think about the fact that each person will have extra guests coming around the neighborhood, and these people, the neighbors, probably have kids as well that they are concerned for. There's also like these people coming around that they don't know, like strange faces. So if you live somewhere that you have your kids there, your family, everybody's there, then you have these 20 people that are coming in every day with their own friends, with different people around them. That's like a whole community on its own, and this is becoming a concern for the neighbors as well. But it's very common that you'll find houses in the GTA where there is that much number of people living there, which shouldn't be. And if you think about it, what do you think is the reason why we are having like that amount of people living in a very small home?
To be honest, I would say most times you're not able to afford houses because GTA is expensive as a whole. I don't live here. I don't know how you'll do it, but it's expensive. Most times people don't even qualify to get these houses, and sometimes these people are students.
A lot of times they are.
And they don't work. They don't have money to be able to pay for these accommodations.
But if you think about it, that's why the government says before you move to come to study in Canada, your parents or whoever your sponsor is should be able to afford taking care of you in Canada. Yes, if you're able to work and make money, that's good. But you shouldn't be depending on that because they want you to have enough money to fund your stay in Canada.
But
most people
a lot of
actually
people
don't.
Nowadays, I'm not putting a label on anyone, but a lot of people now are faking these documents.
So that's a problem. Because now when they come, they can't even afford their basic
So the
life.
government put something in place for you to be able to afford your life when you come here by providing means to support yourself financially. But when you end up faking these documents, you're setting yourself up for failure. Like, you're not doing anybody, you're actually doing yourself. And then when you come here, eventually you become a nuisance to the society.
Then that's those people that are now living 20 people in a row, and it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Because they can't afford like regular apartments because they don't have the money.
There's also increase in pressure on the social services. For example, food banks. You find
a lot of students are even going to food banks. And food banks is not even meant for them in the first place.
Exactly. And the food is meant to support people that are not able to afford food, but like they're living here legally and they're doing everything they can, but they're just not able to afford a good meal or something. Speaking of the GTA, the crime rate here, I don't know how you're doing it.
I don't think it's just the crime rate in the GTA. I think the crime rate in Canada as a whole has increased significantly.
Though I live in London, the population is a lot.
What do you think? Do you think that the crime rate has not increased over there as well?
Obviously, it may have increased, but it cannot be compared.
Maybe not at the same pace as here, but I think the crime rate in general in Canada as a whole has significantly increased. Because I have friends that live in Calgary, and they also talk about like how things are becoming ridiculous now. It was not like that years ago.
I mean, not to say immigrants are the only ones committing these crimes.
Obviously, 100%. I can't even put a label or tag on specific people.
Everybody.
It's everyone in general, like different people from different backgrounds that are doing all this crime. And the crime rate is not just about like, maybe gun violence. There's gun violence. In Canada, when I just came, it wasn't really like that. There wasn't really shooting.
Yeah,
but now when you have like large crowds, it's even almost to the point that it's scary to attend some events, festivals, carnivals, because you just feel like there might be
some
like
sort of violence,
gun violence there. And even not just gun violence, there's like car theft. I was a victim of a car theft,
I'm gonna link that video up.
I was also a victim of like I sold my phone and I was given fake cash.
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh my days! I have a separate video on that as well.
Send me the link so I can link it up, please.
So there is a lot of crimes going on right now in
Were you
Canada.
a newcomer at that point?
No, it was this year. It was this year. $600. So like imagine that. Like so there's this insane crime going on here and there in Canada that it was never a thing before. Like this place used to feel so safe, but now it has become a mess. And I'm like, I just have to lay it out there. This is how I feel about it. Canada is starting to turn into a third world country.
I see that statement in a lot of comments on hateful posts on Instagram that is being targeted towards a certain people from a certain country. Like, oh, Canada is becoming a third world. So that is going to lead me to the next thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
I came across a video on TikTok where someone was like an immigrant, a girl. She was talking about how she was born in Canada and how she has nothing against immigrants, but when you are being welcomed into a country, you need to do as Romans do. Like when you
need to adapt.
Do as Romans do. You need to adapt and learn the culture. You left your country for a reason, so there's no need for you to bring all those things you ran away from to where you are going. So when you come to a place like Canada, you need to learn the culture. You need to adapt to the culture. Even if you don't agree, do not bash it or do not hate it or anything. Just leave things as they are. I'm also not saying you don't have to practice your culture, but we have to be respectful and obey the laws of the land.
And remember that like Canada is like a multicultural place where there are different cultures,
different
so
cultures.
You have to adapt and respect everybody's culture regardless.
Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to say in a nutshell. There's just so many things to talk about. Again, if you have more things to add, leave it in the comment sections. We'll be there to reply your comments, okay? Let me ask you this question, Pisola. How many times a day do you get scam calls?
Bro, I can't even tell you how many times. I probably got 3 today.
I've
3 calls.
I've already gotten, yeah.
I've gotten 3 calls today.
And texts.
And I didn't even answer the calls because sometimes when you see the phone numbers, you already recognize them. So you just don't even bother answering them. And it's always like, with these people, what's going on? Like, man, can you look for a job?
To be like this before? I feel like this scam calls just
it became worse.
Like in the past
it became
year
worse.
or so.
It became worse for sure. It wasn't as bad as this before.
And then there's also the issue of substance abuse. But I don't know if this is related to immigration, but it's also an issue in Canada that's still affecting the country on its own. This is very, very controversial. You can argue with me if you like, and that's fine. This is just my opinion. I feel like the fact that the government decided to legalize cannabis has made things worse. I understand they're trying to decriminalize it. Like, if it's already out there, there's no need for people to be like hiding and be using it. Exactly. But a lot of accidents are happening due to impaired driving. People are going to work feeling high. Like, it's crazy. And there are other crazy substances that have skyrocketed in the market today. Like, I work in mental health, so I can tell you firsthand. From
what you've experienced so far, do you feel like most of the substance abuse is from cannabis or like other drugs?
It starts with cannabis. So when they start experimenting with cannabis, I want to try something else that gives me better feeling.
Better high, yeah.
And these drugs are dirty. They are mixing things. There's a lot of fentanyl.
It's not like the quality.
Exactly, they are dirty. So you don't even know what you're taking. And there's also been like an increase in psychotic breaks, like drug-induced psychosis, because of these things that we have to do, like run blood work to see what substance does this person taking. And when you tell them this is what we found in your system, you're like, I didn't take that.
Because it's already been
adulterated.
Yeah, true.
So all of these things are leading to crime. Like, if you just walk down the street, you don't even need to go downtown. There are a lot of homeless people. You see needles and everything on the floor. It is not safe. And then it's just a lot, guys. There's this thing called like safe injection sites. Argue with me, like I said again. It's a public health thing. It's a public health safety measure. No, like the government, they launch things called like safe injection sites where you bring your substance and then nurses will give you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So the nurses can help you take.
Yeah. The aim for that is so we can give you a more controlled dose, or if anything happens, we're there to help you. Yeah, safe injection
That
sites.
is not cool.
Yeah, so look up safe injection site just in case you doubt me. And there's also like needle exchange programs where you bring your dirty needles, we'll give you clean needles. In a way, they're trying to decriminalize these things, but you're still encouraging it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Honestly, if you're in Nigeria, the minute you come to the center, police is waiting for you.
Yeah, and everybody's judging you anyway. So
No, they'll arrest you from the center.
Yes.
They'll just arrest you.
Because it's like, why? Why are you encouraging such things?
There's also naloxone something, I don't remember, where we give out naloxone basically reverses the effect of opioid overdose. We hand out these kits to help. I mean, that makes more sense to help save their lives. But the one I'm really concerned about is like safe injection sites. How do you feel if they build that site close to your house?
I would not live in that area. Absolutely not. And this is what is going to affect the value of properties around that area. Because it's like, do you know the kind of people that will be coming around there?
You guys can already feel how I feel like.
I feel like
so much.
the government, in a bit to try to accommodate different kind of things, they are not realizing that they are encouraging it, and you're making it seem like you don't know what you're doing when it comes to like governing a country. And it shouldn't be that way, because yes, you're trying to help these people, but you're also encouraging and accommodating those kind of behavior. And the thing about encouraging things like that is it will only get worse, because it will not get better. Since they're already in that state of mind and you're accommodating it, it will get worse progressively and even spread to more people, because other people would see it and say, because the government is doing this, that means it's normal, or that means it's good.
They're normalizing
so
it,
it shouldn't be that way. That's my thoughts.
Still on the issue of substance abuse, because I work in a pediatric mental health ward, this is not even adults we're talking about. These are people 18 and under.
Can you imagine? Ha!
You see people as young as 8 years old, or even less, being on these substances. I'm like,
where are they getting it from?
Some may argue it's bad parenting, but because it's normal, like, you get what I'm trying to say. It's a crazy world out there.
Yeah. That's insane. Me, I'm scared for my kids.
Canada has a drug problem.
I didn't even know
Canada has a drug problem. Oh yeah, we have a lot to talk about. We do. Like we mentioned, large influx of immigrants, very little job opportunities. Unemployment everywhere, leading to homelessness and so many other things. With the issue of unemployment and the recent layoffs that have been happening, oh my god.
And I think also post-COVID as well, because it's not just the unemployment. Yeah, unemployment has always been a thing in every country around the world. But I think post-COVID as well, post-pandemic, the unemployment rate has gone up really, really high. And there has been a lot of massive layoffs as well, which is also making more people to be unemployed and jobless. And now they are having to rely on the government or the government for support, which in turn is taking away from what the government are, because government doesn't even have money in the first place.
We pay a lot of taxes, so
we might as well get benefit from it.
And then also, one other topic I'm going to touch on before we round up: healthcare. There's a lot of pressure on the healthcare. Like I said, I work in a hospital.
As a nurse.
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna make a video on that.
No, don't quit, please. We need you.
Honestly, the Canadian healthcare system, I think that's also something that they sell to you, free healthcare. Because we don't pay for certain services, it doesn't really make it free healthcare, you know. But technically, we are paying for it with our taxes, because we are heavily taxed.
Yeah.
Especially in Ontario, we are heavily taxed, and healthcare per se is not free. Or even if there's a free healthcare, let's say I want to see a gynecologist or a special doctor or something, I have to wait 3-4 months to a year plus
to get an
appointment. I'll be dead
appointment
by then. Like the problem would have like exacerbated.
But why is it taking that long though?
See, I can argue with you on this. I don't know. Is it that you're not hiring enough people? Like, okay, there's such a long wait time. There's a lot of people waiting to see a doctor. Why can't we hire more doctors? Like, why can't there be more hospitals, more clinics? Why?
But if you're saying answers, the government doesn't have the money.
But why are we still being so heavily taxed? Okay, I know some people may argue that if they close the Canadian gates, then they will have money for this thing, but I don't know.
That's not the case. I'm gonna tell you now. Listen, there are a lot of doctors in Canada right now that are foreign trained doctors that are doing like
Uber,
other kind of job, Uber and all of that. So no, I don't agree that they don't have proper. Like if they close the border, then they will.
Okay, because
the people that are even here
Oh
they
my
need
God,
to
yeah.
make them, they need to accept them, give them permanent residency or whatever it is, and let them go through the training process as quickly as possible. If they can even fund it or sponsor it for
You know
them,
something?
they should, so that they can accommodate.
It's actually very
that.
hard for certain professions like doctors, nurses,
Yeah, to
pharmacists.
be foreign
It's
trained
hard.
doctors and nurses to become like licensed to practice in
Yeah.
Canada. So because of that, some people just give up and switch to a different profession that
Mm-hmm.
is much easier to transition to. So, but if I'm a doctor, and that's also a question
Mm-hmm.
that's also something that bothers a lot of immigrants. If I'm a foreign trained doctor and you ask me, oh, move to Canada, it's a land of dreams and opportunities, and when you
Mm-hmm.
come here, you are not able to start practicing your desired profession, then what's the point? Because now you make me an Uber driver.
Valid point.
So the government needs to go back to the drawing board and figure out why did they start encouraging immigration in the first place. Once they figure that out, they need to also think about like what are those people, what value are they adding to the economy, and how can they take advantage of that so they can figure out all these healthcare issues, unemployment rate, hire more police officers, and do more, like fix up what's going on right now. I think the problem is also the government, low key.
Yeah, but with regards to immigration, I know the government is becoming stricter with their immigration policies, like international students.
It's now hard.
Yeah,
to
to even
become an
get
international
like
student in
recently,
Canada.
there's like a quota system that's going to start September or so. You have to get like a letter of attestation or something like that. Ontario is going to have a certain number of international students they can bring.
Other provinces
yeah.
as well. So the thing is, Canada is not also being honest with respect to why they've
welcome
allowed
so much
all these
international
international students in the first place. The truth is, they needed their money.
Yeah, international students, their tuition
They
is like
pay
way
hefty
more.
tuition fees. So, like, if we're saying that now they have this quota system that they want to put in place so
They've
that
gotten the
not
money
too
they
many
need.
people should come in, why did they allow so many people coming in the first place? Because they wanted these people to come in, pay tuition fee, pay, start working for the system, paying taxes and all that. That's why they welcomed them in the first place. And now that they now see that the country is collapsing, they're not trying to fix it. They could have done that from the beginning, if not that they were trying to take advantage of these people. That's just my take.
Okay, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree. So what do you guys think? Let me know. Just let me know in the comment section. And then international students are actually the ones funding these universities, because domestic students will just take funding from the government and
Yeah,
pay
they get
it.
grants as well.
Yeah, so international students, you're required to pay out of pocket in full, way more expensive.
So in a way, I kind of understand why international students will also feel entitled to some benefits in this country, because they've paid so much money.
Let me argue with you. I've seen some opinions where they'll be like, "Then why don't you stay in your country and school? Like go to
No,
school
but
in
I
your
can
country.
decide to school anywhere I want to go to, as long as I
Then
can
when you're done
afford
with
it.
schooling, go back to your country."
Well, the government should not even allow me stay in the first place if they know they
Or they
don't
shouldn't
want
even
me.
have those programs.
They shouldn't have, exactly. So if you tell me, if you made it an option that okay, you can get this after you finish school, that could have been one of the reasons why I decided to
So
come here.
those people who like leaving those hateful comments on people's pages, on immigrants' pages on Instagram or social media,
6 balls.
I think they need to blame the government, not the people. Because if the government never made this way possible, you
That
wouldn't
wouldn't
be
have been
having
an
those
option.
exactly. You wouldn't be having these problems. So it's more of the government. So elections are coming in. I think this October.
I've never voted my whole life. Have you?
And I was not a citizen during the last election. so I don't
Even
know.
back home, I never voted. So this is going to be a new one for me. I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't even know if I want to participate, if I'm being honest, because I don't know. I don't have enough information about the political
Well,
system
you better
here.
get informed.
Yeah. I'm trying to get informed before it happens, and I'm trying to follow the news and stuff. But I don't know how it's going to turn out. Regardless of however it turns out, I'm happy to be here, and I'm
We're happy to be
welcoming
Canadians too.
anyone else that is interested in being here, as long as you obey the culture and you're respectful to the land.
Okay, yeah, that was such an interesting and wholesome conversation. Will I say wholesome? Not really, but yeah, it was interesting. So
And I just want to put this out there. This is no hate to Canada. Again,
hate,
we
we
love
love
being
Canada.
here, and we're happy to welcome anyone that wants to be a part of it. It's just us expressing how we feel
and
right
what's
now
going on and what
what's
we're
going
seeing
in
on
the
social media. So
Be respectful. Keep it respectful in the comments.
no
Thank you.
hate, okay? One love. Alright guys, so I'm going to call this video a day. I'm going to end it here. We had such an interesting conversation, like I mentioned. If you did enjoy this video, please do not forget to smash the like button, share this video and like this video, okay?
And go check out part 2
in her channel, okay? And that video should be up by now, which I'm going to link up for you guys to click and watch, okay? And leave a comment in her comment section. Let her know that you're from my channel. All right, so do not forget to subscribe to my channel, most importantly, guys. And yeah, let's end this video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.